What's up? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks so much for being here, for being subscribed if you are. If you are not, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, while you're at it, hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. Let's just go ahead and brighten up the place. Let's get into this conversation/reality chat. I was waiting to talk about this, guys, but I really have questions about Kimmy and the relationship that she has with Maurice. And if it's going to be beneficial to her moving forward. Listen, I'm not ever here to advocate for the dissolution of anyone's relationship or marriage just for the sake of it. But when it comes to someone's health, which is all you really have, and listen, let's just be honest. You only get one life. You can always get another lover if you choose to, but you only get one life. And for the battle that Kimmy has been going through for her life, dealing with this horrible disease of cancer that has afflicted so many people, and unfortunately a lot of people have lost their lives from it. I mean, even my good friend recently, she just lost her father due to pancreatic cancer, and you know, he only had like a few weeks to live once he found out about it. It's serious. And thankfully, that has not been Kimmy's situation. She had an aggressive form of breast cancer that she had to really get moving on with treatments. And to be in a marriage with someone that I feel is extremely selfish, I don't know how you do it. You have to really, really be tuned into your faith, having a close, deep, personal relationship with God, if that's what you believe in. And doing everything that you can necessary to keep your peace and keep the stress out of your life. But Kimmy admitted on this most recent episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville that she tries to eliminate the stress from her life as much as possible. She was speaking to Melody about this, but she said, but these days, it seems that majority of the stress that she has is at home. And that's because of Maurice and his son. I know she likes to call herself bonus mom, and I feel like that's a little cutesy thing to do for some people. And some people really mean that. And I'm not saying that she doesn't, but it's not your child, Kimmy. You had your son, you raised him. He is an adult. He's a graduate from college, and I believe he's doing well. And you don't have the responsibilities that you had when you were raising a boy anymore. You have a young man. And now Kimmy, who admitted she sort of, I guess, sought Maurice out. And listen, I didn't really follow their relationship too much during the seasons. I'll admit that. But she did an interview with Carlos King, and I remember her speaking about it. She mentioned how she met Maurice, and she said that she saw that he was a barber. She saw him on social media. She messaged him to see if she could schedule an appointment to get her son's haircut. Okay. And now here she is. She got the man. They got married. You know, she got the ring. He put a ring on it. And even in the first season, even though they got married, I really wasn't paying that much attention to them. I'm just going to be honest and admit that. So I may have to go back and watch and pick up on some cues now, because they've been married for several years at this point, and he just seems like a very obnoxious, selfish person to me. He and his brother, who I really don't like, I do not like Marceau. If I had to choose between the two, who I like better, I would say I would prefer Maurice. Would I want to be with someone like him? Absolutely not. Because to me, he also comes across as a user. Even though he is an attorney, I believe that Kimmy helped him out. I don't know if she helped him out financially, but I believe she definitely did help him out, because he was in school and he graduated from and passed the bar and all of that good stuff. And she also had her son graduate from college. But now I'm just wondering, with this relationship, does she have any regret looking back on things? Because with this battle that she's been fighting for her health, and then she's also having to battle, things should just be easy in her house. She should not have to be fussing at his child, even though she calls herself bonus mom, and that's her bonus child. It's not her child. She raised her children. She had one son and he's now a man. I'm sometimes wondering, does she regret the decision that she made to be with this man? Because sometimes some people feel like they get a prize when they meet someone. Things, I guess, are going decent and the man asks you to get married. And that's what you really want, the marriage, but you're not really thinking about the long-term effects of everything. And looking back on it, it's like, did I really win something here? Did I really win? Because I'm sure she was thinking when they got married, yeah, I've got my son, but he is older. He's going to be living his own life. He's going to be spreading his wings and doing his thing as an adult. And Maurice's child, who was a minor, was living with the mom. So I'm sure she thought, yeah, he'll be coming and visiting, but he's not going to be living in my house. And he sprung that on her, that he wanted to get custody of his son, have him move there with them. So now she's picking up I wouldn't say picking up the slack, but she's picking up a role. I'll put it like that. She's having to pick up a role being a mother again. And I don't think she signed up for that. But what do you do? And she probably felt like, well, I got the man now. I got the ring. He gave me what I wanted, so I got to give him what he wants, even though this isn't what I really want. I kind of feel like that, and I feel like maybe she didn't really express that. And it has been noted and documented in research that stress can bring on disease. I mean, disease, if you break it up, it's dis-ease, being uneasy, stress. And so her having the stress probably of a number of different things and holding it in. I'm not saying that caused her to have cancer. So please don't say that I'm saying he was the cause of her getting that. But I'm definitely saying it hasn't helped. It definitely hasn't helped. And so for him to be so selfish and having Kimmy to have to feel like she's having to even say anything to his son about him doing the things that he's supposed to be doing around the house, I just feel is extremely unfair, extremely selfish. And she kind of softballs it a bit when it comes to him. And I get it. Maybe that's just her personality, or it's a combination of we're on television. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that chick, or whatever she may be thinking. So I'm not going to really go there with him. So she may say things to him and be serious about it, but she'll laugh at the end of it to kind of soften the blow, so he's not getting angry or upset. And it's not fair. It's not fair, because she even mentioned to him that he's not really considering her, and I think he said something along the lines of, it's not so much that I'm not considering you, or I'm not thinking about you, I'm just thinking about myself more. You know, how selfish can you be? This woman is going through chemo. She's going to be going through radiation. She had to have surgery. Like, that's just not what any woman, any wife deserves to have to deal with. No woman deserves to have to go through breast cancer, or any type of cancer for that matter. But to add that on top of having to be a stepmom now, not just in word, but also in deed, because this child that was living with the mom is now going to be living with us. So because this is my house and I want my house to operate in a certain way, I want it to look a certain way, I want to be respected in my house, and if I tell you to do something, you're supposed to do it, but yet and still, I'm not really your parent, so you're only going to give me so much respect, especially when your main parent, who is in the house, the father, isn't pitching in and doing his part. And you know, when I first heard about him bringing the child into the house, I'm thinking at first, it's like, well, I guess I kind of understand, because he's becoming a little older, and it's really hard for a woman to raise a man. It really is. It really is hard for a woman to raise a boy into a man. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it really helps when a man is there. And if that man is wanting to bring the child into the household with him to do that, I don't think there's a huge problem with it. But what are the motives for it? And then I start seeing him for who I believe he kind of really is. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe the motives were more so he didn't want to have to pay her child support. And we know sometimes that happens too. That happens a lot. Even if it doesn't work out in the man's favor, there are many who have attempted and tried it because they didn't want to have to pay child support. So they just say, well, I'm going to get custody. Not that you really want it. Like Martell, you just wanted to be able to, well, we know with Hotel, I meant to say, he just wanted to get child support, but he would be dropping the kids off to babysitters like he was accusing Melody of doing all the time, or having his mama help to raise the kids because she ain't really doing much besides drinking his wine that nobody's buying. So all of the cases are probably in her garage. But anyway, I'm just saying, looking over everything now, it just seems to me that his reasons for getting the son were selfish, in my opinion. It wasn't because he felt like, not just because he felt like he could do better in raising him if his son was living with him, but also wasn't fair to Kimmy because she got married to this man thinking things were one way, that he has a son from a previous relationship and marriage, but also he doesn't have custody of the son. So he'll just be visiting from time to time. Not that this kid was going to be living in their household. So I know that Kimmy is not happy with it. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how much she calls herself Bonus Mom. And she calls him by his nickname Monster, which I don't get at all. I feel like some nicknames that people have for kids really need to die. They need to kill them off. Because I do believe that those types of names, they have energy surrounding them. You just have to be really careful. Like when people call their little kids little all the time. Like they have their name, but they'll put little in front of it, and they'll call that person little until this person is 50 freaking 5 years old. And he ain't been little since he was darn near 5 years old, but you still calling him little? Lil Red or whatever. I mean, I'm just saying some of these nicknames that they have for these children just really need to be killed off. So calling him Monster, I don't know where that came from, but I feel like that nickname really needs to be destroyed, because kids will be kids and they'll go through growing pains, and they'll have the times when they get influenced by the classmates or the friends and whatever, and they may get into things that they shouldn't be involved in. But you're calling him Monster and letting him get settled in that, then how is he going to really view himself? I'm just saying, and that may be going off on a little bit of a tangent, but I'm just saying. But I'm quite sure that Kimmy did not sign up for this, and I just wonder if she's sitting here and regretting some of the decisions that she made to even get with this man, because what is it that he really does? We know that a lot of attorneys ain't making no money. Let's just be real. Unless you're the partner in a firm, or you've had a law firm for many years and you've built up, this trust in the community, and you've built up a lot of high profile cases or whatever, a lot of these attorneys aren't really making that much money. That's why you see a lot of people now who are attorneys that spend a lot of their time becoming YouTube content creators. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not in anybody's pockets, but I'm just saying the big attorneys that are really doing it, they're not out here creating content on YouTube. I'm just being honest. Take that as you will. But I'm just saying, I don't really know what type of money Maurice is making, because we know that he is an attorney because he passed the bar. But is he really making any money doing that? We don't really see him in a law firm practicing law. We don't see that. We know he has this business called credit something. I guess it's supposed to be a credit repair business. And sometimes I look at people with credit repair businesses, and I don't really see a lot of those, I should say, as very legitimate businesses, especially when it's like a mom and pop thing like what Maurice has. It's not like Lexington Law Firm, which is like one of the big names, and, you know, these bigger ones that they have out there, which in my personal opinion, they don't really do much that a person couldn't do on their own, but they're taking people's money for it and having them pay them a lot of money to do something that they could do on their own, to just send letters to the credit bureaus to dispute the information, and hopefully they'll delete it off of your credit report. So I'm just saying, so besides those two things and him being on Love and Marriage Huntsville, what does he really do? Because we know Kimmy, she is a nurse and she also does real estate. So in my personal opinion, just being beautifully honest, to me it seems like Maurice came up when he got with Kimmy, but Kimmy sees the relationship for her as a come up because she got a husband and she got the ring, which unfortunately a lot of women look at it that way because they see it as a trophy, or, you know, they want a medal or something because they got a husband, and it shouldn't be seen that way. If they see it that way, then you're seeing it all wrong. And in my personal opinion, I kind of feel like Kimmy is regretting some things, but I don't see her backing out of it because she has some regret, and she's just hoping that she can work things out, they can coexist, they can have their happy moments, and she can try her best to decrease her stress levels while they're in the house. But all yet and still, Maurice ain't changing. He ain't changing. The child ain't changing, and she's going through what she's going through, and I just don't think it's fair. So does she have the right to say, you know what, I don't want to be anybody's stepmom? I don't mind being it in word, but I definitely don't want to be it in deed. I don't want to have to raise someone else's child. And she should be able to do that and say, even if it's while I'm going through what I'm going through, why can't this kid go back and stay with his mom during this period in time? I don't think it's fair. But if she's not raising her voice and saying anything about it, all we can do is speculate and share our thoughts and views and opinions. And I'm quite sure she could care less about them. But I'm just saying, I'm speaking on what I'm seeing because they're showcasing it on this show. And I don't like what I see. It bothers me. And if it bothers me, and I'm sure it bothers a lot of people, you can let me know if it bothers you in the comment section, then we have the right to share our thoughts and views about it. And you know, we'll see if this comes up as one of the questions during the reunion. I don't know. I feel for Kimmy in a way. In a lot of ways, I definitely feel for Kimmy, especially when it comes to her health. But when it comes to this situation, it's like, I probably would have been like, look, I am saying you're either going to have to send your kid back to be with his mom, or I got to be up out of this house and separate for a while so that I can make sure that I have my peace, because I'm not going to the hospital, going through treatments, coming home and have to yell at your brat to clean up his room, or why does he have dishes piled up in the sink, and you just walk in, you see things are like that, and you're not saying anything about it, and you're not addressing it. It's just ridiculous. So I just had to talk about that, share my views on it, because I don't like what I see. And Maurice, he's just looking worse and worse, honestly, in my eyes. So you guys let me know your thoughts about it. Let me know how you feel. Thank you so much for being here, liking and subscribing. I'm Beth. I'm just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.